I have designed small session on ESG. ESG it means environmental, social and governance reporting standards and frameworks. So you can go through this session and I'm sure you will enjoy this because I have covered why ESG is important, how ESG is creating impact on businesses, and how you can find a better career opportunities in ESG, reporting standards process, or process, or I would say vertical. Because every company they will integrate the reporting department, maybe sooner or later, but they will have to. At the moment it's a voluntary, but in upcoming time you might see government can impose the restriction on businesses to ensure the ESG reporting as well. And that's what I have covered all the aspect, how ESG will ESG framework that will work, or how you can design, what are the factors, what factors comes under the environment, social and governance, so that all you can go through and try to understand it. And if you like this video, please share this with others as well. So now let's attend this, and definitely you would enjoy it. Thank you. ESG session. In my introduction, I already mentioned about the importance of ESG and what is the intention or what is the objective of this session. All right. So here I would like to brief you about how ESG is impacting on businesses, how ESG playing crucial role in investment and investment related businesses, how investors means they can create or generate values by following these ESG practices at individual level as well as at institutional levels. So I'll decode the ESG reporting framework through this next 40 to 45 minute session. So I would request you, please be there and attend this video till the end. Apart from that, I would also request you, please click on like button and share this content with others. Let them also enjoy it, because my intention is to encourage everyone about this ESG reporting framework, and you can also find potential opportunities in this vertical, right? So that's what, it's a humble request to share this content with others, and also hit on a bell icon, or click on like button, or put a comment if you like this video. All right, so let's start then. If you ask me, guys, here if you see ESG word, right? ESG. E means environmental, S means social aspect, and G means governance, right? And that's combinedly, if you collect all three words, that becomes your ESG reporting. Again, you would have a question like, why ESG reporting, or is it something new? I would say no, this is not a new. Why then? Why this ESG is important then? Your ESG is important for a sustainable and long-term value creation. What it means? What do you mean exactly? Yes, I'll elaborate this with a few practical examples and case studies which I have prepared for you. If I take the example of, let's say, if I take the example of Adani Coalfield, Adani Coalfield, not in India, but in France. So you would have heard the news about Adani Coalfield. So they have sold their coalfield to someone else recently on discount. Why? Because that coalfield was in the in a legal matter of environment. Legal matter of environment, it means the people like who believe on environment, they protest against the Adani coalfield, and they file petition against Adani group, and finally they had to take a decision to sell out their business to someone else, right? Again, if I take the example of Adani and Hindenburg issue, Adani and Hindenburg, what happened here? Hindenburg alleged to the Adani group by where the Adani missed to report the exact numbers of their profit, or maybe Adani failed to maintain their reporting or accounting, or maybe Adani mislead to their financial statements and all. So it was allegations, right? It was allegations. But what happened once the allegations applied, or once the allegations announced by the Hindenburg? Hindenburg is one of the renowned name in the research and uh, research 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 field, I would say, and they have elect to the Adani group. 4,000 rupees was the price of shares in the market, means Adani Enterprises or Adani Group. But after the allegations, now you can go and check it. The price of Adani stocks, which is at around 700, 600, and maybe 300, 200 and all. Why this happened? Again, so you can relate that. Coalfield was related to the environment issue, right? Coalfield was the issue, means this was the issue of environment. And when I spoke about the accounting and forged or fraudulent or misleading activities and all, that was the matter of governance, right? That was the matter of governance. If I talk about social aspect, I'll take one example. Nike. It is one of the renowned and famous brand. I'm sure you guys are aware about this brand, right? What happened? You can go and check it. The Nike found guilty in the social issues. Issues, it means what exactly? What do you want? What I want to tell here is, go and check about the Nike. So suddenly in Indonesia, because in Indonesia they have one of the production unit, factory unit, I would say, where they actually produce the production. And what happened here with the Nike is, so finally, means the workforce, they announced the protest against the Nike governance or their main body, or executives, with regards to the poor wages, poor work-life balance, no support from the management, total disconnect from the HR and other personnels. And finally, that protest become a very big issue for the that particular Nike, and they had to shut down their unit. So again, I give the example of three different scenarios. So Nike example, which you can relate with the social issues, right? And Adani Coalfield, that you can link with the environmental issues. And again, when I said about the Adani and Hindenburg matter, that you can relate with the governance issue. Again, my point is, why all three issues are critical. As an investor, let's say you would have invested in Adani stocks at 400. Now see the value, significant value has been dropped just because of the Adani could not maintain the good governance practices. Same you can apply to the coalfield. They had to take a decision and sold out the business to someone else just because they couldn't maintain the environmental standards. Nike, they had to bear the huge losses. There are many more case studies that I have prepared, but initially, if you ask me, so what is ESG and why this ESG important, then now I'll tell you. If you maintain the ESG framework within your organization, then you can prevent all these fraudulent and misleading activities from the business. And then you can focus on sustainability, right? Sustainability, it means long-term value creation. So you can create long-term values, or I would say the organizations like TCS, Infosys, Wipro, and many moments there are a number of organizations like Google, right? They can create a huge value creation, not for a short term, but for a long term. And that's what ESG's contribution would be significant in terms of sustainability. And as an auditing or as a reporting analyst, you will get the opportunity to set a metrics, to set a benchmark for your company, and to ensure that your company is following the ESG standards. ESG standards, it means environmental standards, your social standards, governance standards in an effective way. So you can generate, means organization can generate the long-term value or I would say they can maintain the sustainability in their business. And that's what, as I said, ESG is booming now. It's a time of ESG reporting. Till time, it is a voluntary provision, but I'm sure within a 2 to 3 years, every company or every government can look for a mandatory provision of a ESG reporting, right? And here, most of the, I would say 90% companies, they have already started ESG reporting along with their financial reporting. So it means here, if it is a voluntary till now, might be they will not see big scope. But once the government announce it, it is a mandate to perform ESG reporting at a company level, then each and every companies, they will integrate the separate department for ESG reporting like financial reporting, and then it becomes mandatory. Then ultimately you can see the huge potential in ESG reporting vertical in upcoming time, right? So I have prepared presentation for you, so I'll walk you through all the slides, and I'll also cover the few important subject, few important aspect, so that you can understand why ESG is important, right? And how you can prepare the checklist for ESG. What are the different factors that comes under environment, social, and governance? We'll discuss each factors so that you can understand in a better way. So I'll take you ahead to see what you have now. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Anyways, I'll take you ahead. So see this. What is the goal of this session? What is the goal of this session? Goal of the session is want to make you understand about the ESG initiatives, help build business resilience. It's a very important one. Resilience and long-term value. If any business is looking for a long-term value, long-term, it means, see, if I take the example of Tata Group, right? You can take the example, it means business resilience and long-term value. If I take the example of Ambani family or Reliance, you can see long-term, right? Kotak, you would definitely see long-term value or business resilience. And that's how they are following. They are following ESG practices in their business, and that's what they could achieve the sustainability. But still, the Tata Group's few companies, they are on the way of sustainability. How sustainability is impacting on the businesses. So as I said, we have a number of things to discuss. I'll walk you through all that important aspect so that you can note it down and prepare for this ESG reporting interview in upcoming time. All right. ESG stands for what it means. Already we have discussed about it. ESG means, E means environmental, S means social, and G means governance. Without governance, without social aspect, and without taking care of environmental resources, you cannot achieve sustainable growth. If you are looking for sustainable growth, then without this factor, you cannot achieve this. For example, if I take the example of CO2, it means, I'm sure you guys, you would have heard about CO2, carbon dioxide, which is the carbon dioxide day by day, you can see it is increasing, and that is the big concern for each and every organization, right? So now companies that are looking for how they can control the emission of carbon through their day-to-day operating activities, whether it is a manufacturing company or IT company, means every company, whether it is a small or big firms, they are looking for how they can control the carbon dioxide or carbon emission. And this is a highly critical matter for each and every organization. Again, why we are discussing about CO2 here? The point is, when we talk about environmental factor, CO2 is one of the critical factor. Each and every company, they have started to set up a benchmark how they can control the CO2 emissions on year-on-year basis. Even if you talk about country level, India, US, UK, all countries now they are in a race of how they can reduce the CO2, because if the CO2 continues increase, then that will lead to the disruption of this planet. And that's what, as I said, if you're looking for a future, if you're looking for a growth, if you're looking for a sustainability, if you're looking for a long-term value in your business, then as an investor, as an entrepreneur, as an employee, we shouldn't ignore the environmental factor. CO2 is not the one. There are many more in our plate. If I talk about water, what about water? Are we preserving to the water? Are we controlling the wastage of water? Do we have a water harvesting or management system in place? If no, then we should think about it right away. And it is the responsibility of organization. Why it is the responsibility of organization? If I talk about companies like TCS, if I talk about companies like Tata Motors, if I talk about companies like HDFC Bank, because they are the key stakeholders, only they can take initiatives because they have a resources, they have a capital, they have a technology, so they can utilize technology, resources, and capital and think about how they can manage and control the wastage of water. Right? So it means they can include all these parameters in their environmental, that reporting category, and they can plan it out how they can, control or progress on all those natural resources. Not only again water, what about deforestation? What about the natural minerals? Right? Those are not unlimited. When we talk about natural resources, those are vulnerable. When we say vulnerable, it means it is a limited, and always it is a responsibility of each and every individuals to preserve them, to protect them, right? And that's what environmental factor plays crucial role in sustainability. If I talk about social which is related to the employees, right? If your employees, if they are not satisfied within your organization, then how you can achieve the sustainability? If they have a concern about, if they have a concern about the salaries, then how they can work with your company for a long term? What about that dignity at work, dignity in work, employees trust in an organization, and moral dignity from the work? So it means, in short, if let's say you're working with XYZ company, and the manager or boss or anyone from top notch that let's say management, if they're not providing you any support, or let's say if they are not giving you the dignity or respect, will you work with that organization? I'm sure no. And that's what the social aspect is also important to understand it, right? So that you can set up that one of the parameters where you can take the regular feedback, or that you can communicate with the employees and understand the concern and try to resolve it, so that all you can include means the way you prepare the financial reports for expenditure, income, assets, and liabilities, the similar way you can prepare the social reports and publish that with the government, with the social bodies and investors as well, because the employees is the key aspect of your business. If you're looking for a long-term and sustainable growth, without employee support, without their job satisfaction, without competitive salaries to the employees, it will not work at all. I hope you got my concern. If I talk about, let's say governance, there are a number of factors. It's not only one, there are a number of factors. Okay, under social, you may expect fair treatment, right? Equal opportunities. As I said, you would have heard about equal opportunities and all, but are they maintained? Means in reality, are they actually maintain it? I'm sure no. They have a standard. They are following it. But while in terms of execution, we don't see that. If I talk about, let's say, if I talk about CEO and MD, most of the companies they have mains on their body. But what about women's? Why women's they are not on the executive body? This is also matter of your social, and even that is a matter of governance as well. So it means it shouldn't be on the basis, there shouldn't be any discrimination on the basis of race, caste, creed, sex, gender, right? There shouldn't be any kind of discrimination at workplace. So it means there should be equal opportunity to the women's as well. To say means to by saying statement like we encourage to the women, but while appointing MD and executive, when you evaluate or when you discriminate on the basis of sex, so that doesn't make any sense at all. I hope you got my concern, right? So there are a number of things to discuss. So I'll walk you through a few examples of governance, why the governance is important. For example, let's say if I take the example of accounting and recording practices. If organization temper to any financial data, or if they don't maintain the accounting records accurately, that will lead to the big fraud. I'll walk you through a few examples that I have. You would have heard about Yes Bank, if I'm not wrong, right? Yes Bank. What happened with Yes Bank? The director of Yes Bank distributed loans to the nearer one, means their daughter's companies, son companies, and finally that company declared as a bankrupt. Why? Why this happened? Ask this question twice to yourself, then you can understand the importance of governance. If there is no fair practice, or if there is no transparent practice in place, means at workplace, then you might see big scandals and frauds at organization level. If I talk about Satyam company, what happened in Satyam company? Everyone is, I'm sure that you guys are aware about it. Raja uh, Raja Ramalingam something, the name of MD. What he did? What he did? The MD maintained the fraudulent accounting records, or manipulated the accounting and bookkeeping records, and that led to the what? It's a big scandal. The share price was around 24,000, or maybe 2400, but after the fraud the price was around 20 rupees. See this huge drop in value, right? If there is no good governance in the organization, then you would see big scandals like Satyam, big scandals like S Bank. What about PNB? What happened with Punjab National Bank? Can you imagine? The clerk issued n number of loans, a transaction to the whom? Nirav Modi. And finally, what happened? Just because of good governance, just because of audit, internal audit, risk control, it wasn't, risk control check in place, and that led to the more than 12,000 crore fraud. If you take the example of Kingfisher, what happened with Kingfisher? Just because of best auditing practices and governance issues, that led to the one of the big scandal in country. There are a number of example. If I take the example of environmental, I'll walk you through quickly. I'll walk you through one very practical example. I hope that you guys you guys are aware about Lavasa, which is one of the dream project of National Congress Party. Please don't me take it in the wrong way. I'm not here to disclose any political parties, bad decisions and all. I'm here to walk you through, or I'm here to make you understand what is the importance of ESG and why ESG is booming now. That's what I'm here. If you take the example of Lavasa, what happened? The investment of Lavasa was around 15 lakhs crore. Think about it. Can you imagine? 15 lakhs crore. But now the same Same company, same that Lavasa means whosoever that managing the Lavasa, that company is now selling the Lavasa's assets at 15,000. Think about it, 15 lakhs and 15,000. Huge value drop. Why? Again, think about it. As an investor, will you invest in this project? I'm sure no. Why? Because this project caught up in environmental activities. So it means UNESCO, United Nations Environmental Organization filed the case against the Lavasa. So it means Lavasa project that did not follow the environmental procedure. They did not have any proper approvals from the environmental bodies. So it means they have dented to this environment and established the project. And finally, what happened? All I would say gone in vain. Think about it. Why I gave this few practical examples for environmental, social, and governance. The reason is if you have ESG framework in place, then you can easily control all that frauds. And that's what you can control the risk as well. If you are interested in risk and control, if you're interested in designing the principles for your that particular company or industry, then you must join ESG. Yes, you should look for ESG. ESG most, I would say, fascinating and promising, career opportunities that can provide to you if you are interested in all these matters, whatever matters or scenarios which I have discussed with you now. All right. And how means see if you joined any or again I'll give one more practical example. Let's say if you're working at Tata Motors. If you're working at Tata Motors and you are a procurement or purchase manager, let's say purchase manager, it means you have a vendor company, let's say Abhijit Plastic. It is a vendor company. They have scheduled a tournament or any cultural event, and you are working here as a purchase manager. So they have invited to you to attend their event. So will you attend the event? So your answer would be yes, you can. But yes, Tata Motors doesn't allow you to attend that event because it is a matter of conflict of interest. Conflict of interest. So that's how you can, see, ESG is all about how you can implement the best practices in your organizations so that ESG provide you each and everything. See, without environment, without social, and without governance, you cannot achieve the sustainability mark. The same way, the ESG provide you all that framework under one toolkit so that you can refer and design the principles for your organizations by ensuring each and everything from conflict of interest to environment and the resources and management and everything, right? And I'm sure if you see most of the companies in their campus, they are establishing the renewable energy plants as well, so where they can use the natural energy from the natural resources instead of traditional one, right? Because before that means few years back we had only one resource, that is coal, but now we have options: wind, then water, and then other one like solar panel. So we have options. And most of the companies, if I talk about TCS, they have installed solar panel within their organization. If I talk about the Sintel, if I talk about the Ethos, if I talk about other companies, Infosys, they have installed solar panel within their organization. What about tree plantation? TCS, Tata Motors, and many more companies, they also ensured the tree plantations as well. There are few companies, there are few goods, or there are few organizations, they ensure the survival of the trees as well. So those factors are very important for sustainability. Not for only sustainability, but I would say without this factor, how we can create good impact in society, because companies are the key stakeholders. companies are the major stakeholders, major contributors. So they can have a big impact on society, and that's what to ensure of the ESG framework and standards become essential at the organization level, right? I hope you got my intention why the ESG is important. I'll take you ahead. As I said, we have a number of stories to tell, but it is matter of time again. So I'll have to cover that in short. If you want in detail explanation about each and every aspect with a practical, or I would say with case studies, if you want to attend this training program, you can enroll my program. I'll ensure it. I'll provide you a number of stories, material, notes, and everything that you can enjoy it, and even guidance for interview as well. Anyways, this session is not for that discussion, but yes, if you're looking for that, you can reach out to us separately. I'll walk you ahead and see what we have. Again, so here, as per the standards, means already I have discussed why the environment is important and all. Now here you can see what are the factors that comes under the different heads: environment, social, and governance. So that you can see environment, it means the environmental criterion considers how companies use energy and manage their environmental impact as a stewards. It means principle, as I said. So they are the key stakeholders. The resource utilization of org level, that becomes important, factory level, that becomes important, because they required ample amount of natural resources than us. That's what the utilization of natural resources or use of energy and manage that in an effective way, that becomes a very important for them. All right. The E considers how a company uses resources across the board, right? The factors considered are energy efficiency, climate change, carbon emissions, biodiversity, air and water quality. Air and water quality. So I would like to refer one example from the Volkswagen, which is one of the famous car maker in the world, not only in India, but as I said, which is one of the largest and big car maker in the world. What they have done, they breach the one of the law, that is, I'll quickly walk you through the law and the details what they have done it. So Volkswagen, it is a big scandal, I would say. How they have done it, I'll tell you. The Volkswagen emission scandal. So it means that is a famously known as Volkswagen emission scandal, also known as Dieselgate. So it means you can search that information as a Dieselgate as well. So you can search that information as a Dieselgate. What was the issue? I'll brief that out. That issue began in 2025. It's very important, right? This issue began in 2025. What was the matter? The matter was when the United States Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, Environmental Protection Agency in US, right? So EPA issued a notice violation of the Clean Air Act. Clean Air Act. So in Germany, they have a Clean Air Act. Clean Air Act. So it means nobody can contaminate the environment, even air, right? So they have a policy. So act to German automaker VW, the agency had found that the VW, it means Volkswagen, had intentionally programmed the turbocharged direct injection TDI diesel engine to activate their emissions controls only during laboratory emissions testing, and this caused the engine's nitrogen oxides emission to meet US standards during regulatory testing, but emit up to 40 times more in real world driving. See this, how the scam was big. Now if I disclose the number, you would get shocked. VW deployed this programming software in about 11 million cars worldwide. Shit. including 5 lakhs cars in the United States from 2009 to 2015. See this, as I said, they are the stewards. It means they are the principal, they are the key stakeholders. And finally, what they did, see, just put a logic, guys. It's not a something, this ESG is a very big and serious concern, so that we should work on it. If you joined any company and if you see if the companies they are not following, any regulation as such, you should whistle blow. What is the meaning of whistle blow? You should notify to that, authorities. They will not disclose your name. You should whistle blow it and ensure that you are reporting the same to the respective agencies, so they'll control it. Don't think about your job. Apart from job, future and sustainability is also important, more than a salary. And if you are the part of this ESG reporting and all, ensure it you are fulfilling or following, each and every regulations thoroughly. Otherwise, you cannot control all, potential frauds and potential scandals or violation of environmental laws as such. There are a number of stories, as I said, I have to tell, but matter of, again, it is the interest of time, and then I won't be able to spend much of time here only, right? I hope now you got the idea about how you can control, how you can effectively manage your resources and control the all potential frauds and violations by ensuring that you have an environmental policy, strong policy in your organization. Only the ESG framework that will provide you that entire things, whatever that you are looking for. All right. Again, apart from the that clean air and as such, so there are other factors as well. As I said, deep deforestation is one of the big concern. When the government establish any MIDC or any companies as such, they always try to deforest in a nearby forest, and they establish their firms. That doesn't make any sense. It's not good for even society, not even country, and not even for this planet as well. Without environment, without social aspect, and without good governance, you cannot achieve long-term development. See here, it is a wastage of water, right? If you don't have a strong system, strong water management system, then you cannot preserve and control the water. There are a number of stories that we have seen. Even in monsoon season, that you can see the news, like people that are looking for a water, they are thirsty, they're feeling thirsty, they need a water. Why? We have ample amount of water, but still people they are looking for water, right? So think about it. So it means without this, it won't be easy for us to achieve the growth. There are other issues as well, as I said. So it means those are the risks. And as an investor, while investing, you should not invest in such companies which they don't follow the environmental regulations. And as I said, if you still invest, then you will lose your value. It is a responsibility of good investors as well to promote to the good businesses, not bad one. If you're as an investor, you're looking for a long-term value creation, then why don't you evaluate the businesses on the basis of three factors? One is environment, another one is social, and the last one is governance. There are other aspects as well apart from this. What are the big risks and all? I'll disclose that so that at least you will have an idea. Means what are the big risks and how you can control it. So major issues, if you ask me, right? Apart from this, we have economic issue. So it means asset bubble, deflation, energy prices, shock, unemployment, and many more. Apart from that, we have other factors like environmental. Under environmental, we have seen this. Then geopolitical matters, good governance failure. We have seen that in in Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and even in Sri Lanka, right? Same that we have seen in many other APAC countries also, governance failures. And just because of that, we means that people or population had to bear huge losses, right? Even terrorism as well. So it means my point is while investing, you should ensure that you shouldn't invest in those companies. You shouldn't promote or encourage to those businesses and countries if they don't follow the proper checks. Social aspect, as we have other social aspect as well to discuss. And apart from the big risk which I can see, which is a technological risk, cyber attack, data fraud, then adverse technological effect, and many more. See how you can ensure it, think about it, and how you can control, because ESG has no specific points that you can set up a strong points or benchmark for your organization. You can design as a reporting analyst, you can design all these principles and set up this reporting structure in your organization, and you can ensure the achievement of those. All right. So I'll walk you through the social aspect. We have already discussed it, but I'll just quickly walk you through what are the social aspect and how you can ensure it. So you can set up a benchmark for, let's say, culture, people and culture, right? Then how that has a ripple effect on the broader community. Factors considered are inclusivity, gender and diversity, employee engagement, customer satisfaction, data protection, privacy, community relations, human rights, labor standards. Few points companies they have been following, but if you genuinely ask me, what about the HR rule? You can check it, they are biased. So it means that they don't support to the employees who are working hard. They don't take a stance with employees, right? We don't see the strong and active engagement from the HR department of companies. And that's what you would see: dissatisfaction, dignity at workplace, molestation. There are a number of things, and number of it means a number of things. If your workplace is not better, then how you can achieve the growth, right? And as I said, there are a number of factors. If you don't maintain that, how that company will achieve good growth? Because employees are the key aspect, right? Employees are the key aspect. You are ready to invest, but what if when you invest, the employees or directors, or let's say the CEO of a company, they mislead, let's say, records or anything as such, or tamper to the company's assets and all? What will you do? Think about it. While investing, always as a cognizant investor, you should ask for other details like social aspect details. Have they mentioned about, means have they maintained it or not, right? Employee satisfaction matter a lot. Now if you see, TCS maintain 90% attrition, and the other companies, if I talk about Apex, they have a more than 60%. How means Apex will achieve the good or sustainability? Think about it. So it means attrition also matter a lot. And why attrition lead? Because of this: inclusivity, gender and diversity, equal opportunities. There are a number of aspects: salaries, no competitive wages, disconnect from the HR, dignity at workplace, dignity in workplace, respect, right? Competitive salary, benefits, and all. There are a number of things, guys, a number of things that I can tell you, right? Anyway, so you think about it, how you can design the principles under social aspect. And then what about governance? We have discussed several examples about governance, but again I'll walk you through the few important points. Governance considers a company's internal system of control, practices, and procedures. How an organization stays ahead of a violation, right? The scandal like Satyam, scandal like Yes Bank, PNB, those are the examples of governance. And in an interview also, you might expect those examples from the panel, right? So you can Means again, you can go through this video and note it down, each and every scandal, whatever that we have discussed. This governance ensures the transparency, right? Transparency and industry best practices, and includes dialogue with regulators. Factors considered are the company's leadership board composition, executive compensation, and audit committee structure, internal controls and shareholder rights, bribery and corruption, lobbying, political contributions, and whistleblower program. So I'll give you one example in terms of whistleblower so that you can understand it. There are many more. In case of Harshad Mehta scandal, means stock market scandal, that lady Dalal, Suchita Dalal, was the lady, and someone actually whistleblow it, and then that lady exposed to the Harshad Mehta. The similar way, there are many more examples. As I said, if I talk about Ranbaxy, right? Ranbaxy is one of the so Ranbaxy is one of the famous or popular company. What they have done, I'll quickly walk you through, means what they have done it. In 1990, Ranbaxy, right? Note down all these examples, guys. Those are very, very practical examples. Ranbaxy is, they have a laboratory where they, develop the drugs and medicines and all, right? And they sold around the world. It is a US registered company, pharmaceutical company. They enter in the drugs market. Dinesh Thakur joined Ranbaxy Laboratories in 2002. His job was to scrutinize the information Ranbaxy sent to the US and other foreign markets to get the approval for its drugs. So the point here is, Thakur discovered that the false test results were submitted for HIV, antiretroviral, and other drugs. And he also uncovered some unprofessional manufacturing processes, as Catherine Iban describes in her devastating exposed bottle of lies, Ranbaxy and the dark side of Indian pharma. What happened then? Finally, in May 2013, Ranbaxy pleaded guilty to felony charges relating to the manufacture and distribution of certain adulterated drugs made at two of Ranbaxy manufacturing facilities in India, and two misrepresenting clinical generic drug data. Included in the adulterated products were antiretroviral drugs destined for the treatment of HIV and AIDS in Africa. The company had to pay fines and settlement to the tune of 500 million. And under the FCA, whistleblowers may get a percentage of the fines paid by the companies. Dinesh Thakur received a reward of 48.6 million. Think about it. If you whistleblow, you will receive rewards as well. But more than a rewards, I would say it's your responsibility as well to ensure that the company is maintaining the standards, highest standards, right? It's not a matter of only money. It's matter of system. If the company failures, that actually, you would see impact on a number of peoples. You would have seen when the Harshad Mehta scandal happened, thousands of people, they lost their lives because he was the key stakeholders and people that are holding assets from the stock market. They had to lost everything. Think about it. You have submitted your entire life saving in XYZ mutual fund and hedge fund, and let's say that hedge fund or mutual fund found guilty in fraud and you lost your everything. Think about it. Think about it, that you have invested your life saving, means entire life's money that you have invested in XYZ company, and that company found guilty in their business, means in their they have misled the activities and all. Just think about it, guys. It's a very, very, I would say, it's big thing that we should think about and ensure that as an employee also, if the companies they are maintaining ESG standards at workplace or not. If not, we should whistle blow it. All right. Anyways, I hope now you got the concern about means why ESG is essential. And that's the reason, as I said, if you are interested in all these matters, scandals, then misleading practices, whose accounting records and all, then you can join this ESG department, and then you will get opportunity to design the principles from the scratch. You can enjoy a lot. And in upcoming time, maybe in 2025 or 2030, you might see, as I said, promising career in ESG segment. So I'll quickly walk you through the other factors as well as I have. So it means, as I said, this field is not a new one, but they have compiled all the best standards and designed the ESG framework, right? So this is the data which we have. There has been a massive surge in ESG. It's a real data reporting in the past few years. Many companies now integrate their ESG reporting in their annual reporting to demonstrate how sustainability is embedded in their business. So most of the companies, as I said, they have started to integrate the department. So it means you would see scope for ISG. Simple. Again, the one of the report, why ESG reporting, we have already discussed fraud, then other bad practices and all that already we have discussed with the examples. So here it's just a explanation so that you might expect questions on it if you're looking for an ESG interview. While it's still, as I said, it's a voluntary provision, but there are increasing global regulations regarding corporate ESG data reporting. So proactive and future focused companies understand the importance of communicating ESG criteria in the business strategy and purpose. They are voluntarily providing their ESG data in their annual reporting. So it's an annual reporting cycles which you can follow. All right. Companies with a strong ESG performance. The statement is important if you are an investor. As I told, if any company is maintaining ESG, the statement is very, very important. Listen this. Companies with strong ESG performance have demonstrated higher return on their investment. As I told, without sustainability, you cannot achieve long-term objective or value, and lower risk and better resiliency during a crisis even. One of the best example that I'll give you, how ESG will support to the community. COVID-19 was COVID-19 situation. It was such a devastating that moment or challenging or unprecedented time for everyone. Entire world went in lockdown. And then I would have heard that most of the companies, they have announced layoffs. But if XYZ company, let's say, if they started to follow ESG, I'm sure they would have supported to their employees in the hard and difficult or challenging time even. That's how ESG support to the employees, ESG support to the environment, ESG support to the investors, where it is abide to maintain good governance practices in the organization. All right. Again, as of July, it's data like 2020 to 90% companies which are under S&P have already published their annual corporate sustainability and ESG report. As I told, it's not a new one. Companies, they have started to follow the ESG reporting, and very soon it will mandatory to all companies which are under the big indices across world like IFRS. All right. So this is the checklist. So where you can design, means how you can design the reports. If you have a question that, so while designing the template or while designing the tool, so you can ensure the few points and what are those points. So under, let's say, environment, You can prepare the checklist with climate change, natural resources, biodiversity, pollution, carbon emission, land use, facilities, climate financing, environmental risk, so that you can integrate all these points, and you can ensure this whether you have control it, or whether you have achieved it, what your benchmark that you have set or not. So it means it is, say, depends on you. So you can design your customized reporting model, and you can ensure achievement of those. If I talk about social, then employees, human capital, insurance, human rights and labor practices, community impact, equity, philanthropy and volunteering, responsible supply chain, education, stakeholder relations, product quality and safety, economic development, cultural opportunities, equal opportunities, dignity at work. There are a number of topics, so that you can set up, as per your requirement, company's requirement. Let's say if I take the example of Tata means I'm talking about Tata Motors. Tata Motors can have a different, benchmark. And TCS, if I talk about TCS may have a different one. So depends on the company, depends on the field, depends on the industry. So you can set up the reporting, standards, design the standards for that company, and ensure it the achievement of those. How you can, I have prepared small, slide even for that, so that you can refer it. I'll walk you through that slide as well. All right. And what about governance? Then under governance, you can put a point. Executive means CEO salary, ownership, accounting and financial controls, internal audit, communications, transparency, diversity and inclusion, corporate governance, corporate decision making, and many more. So those are the points which you can include in it. Right? So I have covered again those points here. What is an ESG report? Again, what is an ESG report? It means one report that you can present which covers the environmental factor, social factor, and governance factor. Report is a communication and disclosure tool designed to increase corporate transparency about an organization's ESG performance, risk, and opportunities. ESG reports should be clear and data driven. As I said, you should always, while preparing the reports or while designing the benchmark and tool, you should support that with the data. Without data, you cannot include that benchmark or include that point in your ESG reporting. All right. And then again, the everything it should be clear. Tell a clear story about how the company is pursuing better social, environmental and equitable outcomes for its employees, customers, external communities, and the planet, backed by evidence. So it means if you want to prepare the year's report, you should follow these guidelines, and then you can prepare your ESG reporting standards for your company. All right. So these are the factors. Again, if you have any question like what are the points, how I can include it, these are the points which you can include under social. So you can include behavior, ethics, values, and culture of employees or top executives, employees engagement, health and wellness, safety, learning and development, philanthropy and giving. So there are a number of points which you can include, right? Under environment, natural resources system, then carbon emissions, renewable energy use, energy efficiency, land and water, paper usage, wastage and materials. Under customer, you can put product, quality, safety, customer education, reuse, recycling, circularity, sustainable products and service, customer issues and resolution, brand signaling. And under community, it can be economic development and community investment, workforce development, diversity, equity, justice and inclusion, environmental quality, and stakeholders engagement. So you can include all these points while designing the checklist or toolkit for an ESG. Also, I have I have, let's say, means from an investor perspective, people, let's say, if you're from investment banking, hedge fund, fund accounting, and many more. So this is for you. If you see, Many larger institutional investors, many larger institutional investors and fund managers like BlackRock. BlackRock is the father of investment industry. State Street, Fidelity, Vanguard, all are major investment players. Other post public information on their websites about their ESG criteria, voting approaches, and investment expectations. Be sure to review and familiarize yourself with that information, what it means. They have started to follow the ESG practices. So it means they only invest in a companies where who follow the ESG standard and framework. And that's what, as I said, if you target to this field, so it might that gives you the best opportunity to work in India and abroad, not in India only but also abroad as well. So you can find a better opportunity, challenging opportunity, not like data entry work. So it means, let's say if you take the example of, let's say, BNY, so you will have to design the model for BNY from the scratch. You will have to study the BNY business, their services, product, customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction. You will have to go through the several surveys, schedule several surveys. You will have to take the feedback. You will have to connect with the employees and understand their concerns. Everything means everything. Think about it. It would be challenging job to work with ESG department. If you are interested, definitely you can enroll or apply within your organization also and see it if they offer or give any opportunity to work with ESG. All right. Board governance and ESG reporting. This is something, there are bodies like Climate Task Force on Climate Related Financial Disclosure and many more. And there are, apart from that, there are other bodies as well. What are those bodies? And so it means, see, as I told, so it is not a new one. There are other bodies who contribute the principles, specific principles from the different areas. And here ESG picked up those. And under this ESG, so it means all different principles they have brought up under one toolkit, which is called as your ESG. And there are other bodies, so you can go through that as well, right? But yes, if you want to prepare metrics, ESG metrics, how you can prepare it and what are the factors that you can consider? First and for most factor that you can consider is reference standards. So it means, first of all, design the principle with the reference standards. Like, in the absence of clear laws, if there is no law or regulations, then you can refer regulation. It means if there is no dedicated regulations, then you can refer the frameworks from the GRI, SASB, and CDP, carbon development project something, so that you can see. So it means Sustainability Accounting Standard Board, and GRI, it means global something. I have that details, I'll walk you through it. But yes, you can refer the frameworks from those organizations as well, if you see if there is no law or regulation in place. So it means other bodies which provide you framework, so you can refer from those, right? Second point, research and or talk to peers. It's unlikely you are the first or only organization in your industry. So it means first time if you're designing that principles, then what you can do, who are the ESG leaders in your sector? What are your peers reporting and measuring? Are you there any established benchmarks? Desk research and peer conversation should be an important input into your process study, right? Means, or you can ask and even survey as well. If there is no any framework, pure framework or anything as such, or if you are the only one, then you can schedule surveys as well. As I already told, you can schedule a survey, take the information, collect the information, and accordingly you can design the benchmark. Then apart from that, here third point is, if you want to design the metrics, then solicit views from the external ESG analysts and stakeholders. Similar to the point number 2, your investors and stakeholders may also have a preference or recommendations on your ESG metrics and disclosure focus. So you can take a support or help from your investors as well. And 4 point, design your own. Don't copy and paste the metrics from other companies. Why? Ultimately, regulatory obligations aside, your ESG measurement, reporting and disclosure process needs to feel right for your brand, business, and organizational context. So we highly recommend, as I said, do not copy and paste. Measuring what matters to your organizations will lead to much better ESG outcomes than copying from others without context. And for a reference examples, some notable third-party ESG frameworks that we have includes for you so that you can refer if you want. I'll quickly walk you through that organization names. ESG initiatives by following organizations: GRI, Global Reporting Initiatives, from the one of the organization, that is GRI created the first global third party sustainability and social impact measurement standards, so that you can refer their framework. Apart from that, the Task Force on Climate Related Financial Disclosure, this organization also provide framework in sustainability, right? TCFD. There is one more, CDP, formerly the Carbon Disclosure Project. CDP, it means Carbon Disclosure Project, manage a global environmental disclosure system used by more than 9,000 companies. So you can refer the framework from them as well if you don't have your own. And the another one important is Sustainability Accounting Standards Board. So they design the principles in sustainability, so you can refer their framework and ensure it that you are following the same. Apart from that, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Goals are a collection of 17 interlinked goals designed to serve as a blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. Many corporations and non-profits have used to the SDGs to inform their ESG strategy, materiality and understanding reporting pillars and disclosures them. Themes. B Corp. B Corp is a private certification and set of standards for a corporate social and environmental performance. The B Corp framework is the most widely adopted by smaller privately held companies. So you can refer the sustainability and environmental and social framework from B Corp institution also if you don't have any prior experience, right? And how you can prepare the checklist. We have a small scorecard, so which you can set under the, let's say, environment. You see this, you can set this: be diverse and inclusive, women on board. So you can ensure it. You can ensure that you have hired women on your board and you can maintain the data. For example, let's say foster responsible conduct and compliance. Percentage of eligible employees who completed the code of conduct and ethics training. So you can maintain the data for them 100%. It should be 100%. So that's how you can maintain the reporting. LGBT, now transgender, then means so this is all about discrimination, and also it shouldn't be there at workplace. Number of significant monetary fines or significant non-monetary sanction for a non-compliance with laws and regulations, so that you can maintain the data, means year-wise you can maintain the data and you can ensure it that you have achieved it as year-on-year basis. Under the environmental factors, you can see be carbon neutral. Be carbon neutral, it means achieved it, reduce and achieve that zero level, right? Reduce environmental footprint, resource utilization, so that you can set up the checklist, design it and follow it, so that you can publish to the investors as well, right? So this is how you can design the scorecard and ensure the achievement of all the principles which you have designed. And if you don't know how to create ESG checklist, so I have few points which you can refer. What are those points? I'll quickly walk you through those. So first of all, prepare an executive summary of reports with highlights. Then second, description of your ESG process, methodology, and any frameworks used for a guidance. Third, your ESG targets and KPIs so that you can select. And performance pillars as well, social, governance, and environmental. And ESG ratings and performance summary for investors so that you can include in your report. And overview of summary of your financial performance and economic development value created. An explanation of your company's mission and top ESG materiality themes. A detailed data-driven description of your ESG performance across each pillar and materiality theme. A carbon accounting and environmental footprint, overview of supporting data, any highlights, awards that you can include, and your ESG risk management approach, highlight key ESG risk and opportunities for your business. So it means you can design your checklist with these points, and your ESG checklist will be handy or ready to prepare or maintain that. All right. And finally, here I'm done with your ESG, the short session. I'm sure that you would have enjoyed this with few examples and case studies and all. But still, I would say, if as I said, if you're looking for a career into the ESG, then you can join my live training program. So where I'll personally teach you, I'll walk you through the few real examples, and I'll ensure that you have received ample amount of values where that you can join as a ESG analyst. In India, nobody is offering the ESG course or training as such, but we are the one in this industry. We always ensure that we are offering best content to our followers, subscribers, and students, or I would say enthusiasts, like who are keen to learn all these new things with us. If you're looking for any course, any content as such, you can call to this number 7387609230. And finally, यार कभी भी ये मतलब जैसे मिल रहा है तो फ्री में सब कुछ मत देखा करो ना. अगर आपको चीजें पसंद आती है तो कभी लाइक भी किया करो कंटेंट को. गूगल आगे पुश नहीं करता है अगर आप लाइक नहीं करते हो तो. उतना तो करके एनकरेज करो. 4 घंटे से मैंने इसकी मेहनत करी, पूरा प्रिपरेशन करा, एंड देन आई हैव डिजाइन दिस मॉडल फॉर यू. बट आप इतने कंजूस हो कि एक लाइक तक नहीं करते, उसमें देखते हो बस निकल जाते हो. If you like this and share this content with others, that encourage me to do more for you guys. So let's come on, do it. इस वीडियो के लिए मैं 1000 लाइक एक्सपेक्ट कर रहा हूँ एंड 1000 कमेंट्स इवन. अगर आप देते हो तो उसमें ये भी दे देना कि आप नेक्स्ट टॉपिक किस पे चाहते हैं, उस पे सेशन हम लेके आएंगे आपके लिए. आप बस वहां पे कमेंट करके बताइए, विल एंश्योर दैट कि हम आपको वो टॉपिक भी दे रहे. एंड अगर आप ट्रेनिंग के लिए देख रहे हो, सो डोंट फॉरगेट टू कॉल अस. I'll also give you some link. If you're looking for fund accounting material or any videos as such, check the description first. Don't forget to check the description, जहाँ पे आपको मटेरियल वगैरह सब मिलेगा. एंड अगर आप मेरे से डायरेक्टली बात करना चाहते हो तो मैं डिस्क्रिप्शन में लिंक दे रहा हूँ, सो यू कैन डायरेक्टली क्लिक ऑन दैट लिंक, schedule अपॉइंटमेंट विथ मी डायरेक्टली, and directly connect with your famous one, which is Shivraj, and get the better tips for your interviews, preparation, and a better future prospect. Thank you. We'll see about the companies. What are the companies who are hiring for ESG reporting and all? So big four companies, they have started to hire candidates who have a sound knowledge of ESG. Companies like TCS or Infosys, Wipro, or I would say companies like the sound at a better position. So most of the companies, they have integrated their departments. You can go and check on their recruitment site, or maybe you can check the same on Naukri or LinkedIn as well. So where companies, they have started to hire
auditors or reporting analyst who has a sound knowledge on ESG reporting. But initially, you can target the top-notch companies, big four companies, big four top 10 investment firms or top 10 IT companies where you can actually enjoy it, because the ESG reporting analysts, they're earning well, more than 10 lakhs or 15 lakhs package where companies are offering for ESG reporting framework and all. Definitely you would enjoy it. And yes, as I said, if you're looking for a in-depth again understanding on all these aspects, or how you can design the reporting standards and all, or what are the resources that you can refer, or guidance or mentorship program, then you can enroll my mentorship or training program, both depends on your requirement. So we'll see you in next session. Meanwhile, thank you. You can watch my other videos as well on private equity hedge fund, so you can refer that and just upgrade yourself. Thank you.